What's going on, everyone? ODC here, and I'm back with another action figure review. Today's review, we're going to take a look at two figures, actually. Two for the price of one here. We're going to take a look at the G.I. Joe Classifieds Tiger Force Target exclusive Bazooka and Outback. And we'll talk about Outback. I think he is the shiningest star, that's not a word, the brightest shining star out of the duo here. I always had a fondness for Outback. He's not necessarily my favorite G.I. Joe, but I've always had he's always had a special place in my heart, I guess, is Outback. When I was a kid, Outback was plentiful on the shelves, and I always thought it was pretty cool how intricate his harness / backpack was. I thought that was pretty cool. He's pretty bare bones, but he's a survival guy, and I thought that was pretty cool too. It said survival going across his chest, and then the explanation for it. So pretty cool there. He does come with a decent amount of accessories for a character that is usually pretty bare bones. But he does come with his trench shovel. He comes with his backpack, which you can see right here. Just pretty much a brown plastic, nothing too crazy. I might go back in the future and add some more details here just to bring out some of this nice sculpt. But I like the little pegs on the side, so you can peg the trench tool or shovel onto the side. And then we also have his submachine gun, which is right here, which looks pretty cool, or assault rifle. I would say it's more like a assault rifle than a submachine gun, really. But I've always pictured him with a submachine gun. I don't know why, but this is a stockless, actually, assault rifle. Looks like more like an AR of some sort. But we've got a scope here. What looks to be some sort of maybe like red dot or something right there. Not really sure. But he's got a multi-scope too. He's got a short range, long range, and then it looks to be, like I said, I think this might be I don't think it's a range finder because it's a smaller, more maneuverable assault rifle, but still, nonetheless, pretty cool. You can take the magazine out. And yes, this is a magazine, not a clip. But here's the strap here. It is not articulated at all. It's just pretty much, just a plastic strap right here, and it doesn't really move or anything like that. There's no hinges or anything on it. And if you do start moving, it'll start to kind of put stress on that front of the muzzle. It does have a porthole for effects, which we don't have any effects from G.I. Joe, so you have to switch to the good old Valiverse for that. He does come with his torch. Looks pretty cool. I might go ahead and paint that yellow or green, either one. I use green or yellow lenses. And then we have his sidearm pistol, which is pretty cool. I like the little bit of tape, or maybe that's like could be some sort of cloth around the grip to make it more grippy. And then we have what looks to be a laser dot on the bottom, and that is also strapped on as well. Pretty cool. I like this. Not really sure what pistol this is supposed to be, but it's a pistol nonetheless. And that is not it. We have also his boot knife, which looks very boot knifey. It's just a gray plastic. Pretty much all the accessories except for the pistol on here are just, and the assault rifle due to the strap are essentially one color. So there you go with that. And then we have the figure itself, and just kind of zooming in here and getting in close. Taking a look at the face sculpt here. I really like this face sculpt. This is kind of unique for this figure. The regular release with Outback will not have this older man looking sculpt, so the sculpts will differentiate between the two figures, which I really like. So if you want to go for that older, more grizzled look, go with the Tiger Force one. If you want to go with the more, younger Outback, maybe it's a flashback scene or something like that, you could go with the younger looking Outback. I like the orange for the shirt, the big tiger logo here. I think this is one of those things. Like I said, Tiger Force, I feel like I was never a big fan of Tiger Force. It was clearly just a cash grab by Hasbro to make more money off of re-releases and just call it a sub-team. I wasn't a big fan of certain characters being a part of Tiger Force, like Duke. No. Certain other characters as well. I didn't mind the Night Ops or Night Force sub-team, but Tiger Force, just, for certain characters it works. I think with Bazooka, guys like Rakondo and guys like Outback, I think it works. But for others, maybe not so much. Take a look at the back. Like I said, I really like this kind of like almost like a darker orange. It's not a very bright orange, which is nice. I like the little blue paint for the head wrap right there. It looks pretty cool. The harness is multicolored here. We have a little bit of brown for the leather on the strap for his harness. And the harness does kind of ride up a little bit, just a little bit. And that's going to happen just from the figure moving around and such. So if you get the belts to line up, you kind of have to maneuver everything downward to get it to stretch just a little bit, but then it'll line up perfectly just like so. We have the drop-down leg holster right here, just a brown plastic. Same thing with the torch holster, and then the dreaded boot knife holster. Moving on to the big Zook Bazooka. All right, so Mr. Bazooka here, the big Zook. Let's get that off. We'll take this off. We'll take his helmet off. He comes pretty bare bones. Bazooka's always been kind of that, had that kind of aesthetic going for his character. He's kind of bare bones. He's got his specialty, and that's pretty much about it. His name is Bazooka, but he shoots a rocket launcher. So I always thought that was quite ironic. Ironical. How ironical of him. But this is his Tiger Force look. It is not to be confused with his Patriots jersey look, which would be his regular release. This I always called, and I know it's not the same colors because Cincinnati Bengals actually wear, black, white, and orange. Those are their colors. They don't really wear blue, so the blue would be inaccurate. But I always called it the Cincinnati Bengals jersey. Like he switched. He jumped from being a Patriots fan to a Bengals fan. So that's what I went with, and I thought it made sense, making it a Bengals jersey with being on Tiger Force. Come on, it just goes hand in hand. But I really like the face sculpt on him. I think it looks pretty good. His one eye is a little bit off, just a hair off, but that's just a nitpick that I'm just kind of pointing out. I like the hair sculpt for him. I think it looks pretty accurate to what the character would and has had in the past. I love the Tom Selleck mustache. Looks fantastic. The newly sculpted upper torso with he and Outback looks really good. I love the jersey kind of arms right here, and this could totally be reused for hardball. I think personally, I mean, you've already got the mold right here. Why not use it for hardball? Perfect example of good reusage right there. Not sure what if these legs down here are reused. They might be reused from Gung Ho. I'm not 100% sure on that. I'll have to take a look at my Gung Ho, but we do have pinless joints up top. I know a lot of people freak out about having pinless joints. I'm pretty sure all of Outback is pinless, but unfortunately we have the older legs here for those of you that care about having pins in your legs. Personally, I don't care. It doesn't bother me one bit, but for those of you that it does bother, they are there. I like the camo pattern for Bazooka. I think it fits his character. Bazooka's always been more of a louder character, a little bit of a doofus, especially when you're comparing him to his, his cartoon version of Bazooka. His accessories are as follow. Oops, sorry. We'll stand him up like he should be stood up. Sorry, stand at attention, sir. We have his rocket launcher right here, which looks really cool. It does swivel outward. Just be careful. It does depeg quite easily, just so you know. It is not on a hinge joint. It is just pegged in. So you can swivel it back and forth. If you're going to swivel it, I would definitely swivel it upward, not backward, because it's going to hit this little sculpted piece right there. It's actually meant to go this way. Then you can put one of your rockets in there if you want to. Kind of feed it in there. I have seen some reviews where the rockets have actually gotten stuck. So I'm just probably going to leave this out, but you can put it in there. I'm not sure if it's supposed to be like old school, like where you put it in there and then you flick it and it comes flying out the other end. I don't think that's even going to work, but it is hollowed in there. It looks really tight if you see it. See how tight that looks? That's a tight fitment. I don't even think if you flicked this thing, it would probably end up getting stuck in the center. And yeah, I don't know if you're going to be able to get that out unless you get some really thin needle nose tweezers. So don't recommend you pushing the missiles in as far as you can. It's a cool feature, don't get me wrong, to offer, but I don't know how many people are actually going to want to use that. I like the uniqueness of this design for the rocket launcher. I like that we've got a little bit of a pad right here for his shoulder and his cheek as well. I like this little side grip right here, the pistol grip right here, the strap so you can put it around his shoulder without any issues if you wanted to, just like that. And it does hang pretty naturally, so that's really good. They did a good job with that. Overall, I really do like this design. Maybe this isn't for everybody. Like I said, the back does pop off quite a bit, so I might end up just gluing that in. And then we have a pad on this side, so that's pretty nice. The backpack itself, like I said, can store all of the missiles. You just kind of want to just set them in there. There's a little hole in there. You just want to set it in there like that, and then just push it back. And they, for the most part, usually will stay in there pretty securely. It's not going to be like Major Blood where they constantly pop off, and then I ended up just gluing his stuff together. It's all green plastic. There's some rivets on this side. Whoops. Rivets on this side, which I might actually go back and paint silver. And then we've got some straps here that need to have some painting, some black straps maybe, or maybe brown. We could do that. And then we have a hook right here, and this hook system works with the back of this. You just kind of want to hook that onto that like that, and it hangs, and now he has full storage, which is really cool. He does kind of have the floating backpack syndrome, where you kind of have to just imagine that, he's got backpack straps right here, which isn't the end of the world. That's how most G.I. Joes were originally set up anyway. And then we have the helmet. Helmet fits very securely on his head. There should be no issues with that. We've got a little bit of a brown strap right here painted, and then over here we have actually I want to say that the helmet covering, the kind of orangish helmet covering, is actually the painted piece, and then we've got the brown for the plastic, seeing as the whole interior of the helmet is brown. It does fit on his head nicely and securely. Let's do the helmet fall off the head test. Yes. No, it passes. Where Dusty's fails, he passes it. This is what he looks like up close and personal with all of his stuff all geared up. It's definitely going to get glued, but he can hold it in a kind of like a neutral pose if you want to have him holding it like this. And then just position him in a specific manner. I would like a little bit better movement in the neck in the future, maybe with this body mold. Maybe they can update that a little bit, and they probably won't, but it's just a suggestion. I think it would be something cool to add. It's a little bit more range of motion in that neck piece. He can also hold it. He can also two-hand his his rocket launcher. Let's get it that like that, and then we'll get this up like this. We'll get his head kind of in and then tilting like he's about to fire, and we'll get him in a crouching pose. Why not? He's a little bit tight. My copy is. He does have the drop down hips, which I think does benefit him quite a bit. Let's get that knee bent the way it's supposed to be so he's a little bit more flush and neutral. It doesn't look as natural, that bend, but it does work, I think, as far as that's concerned. I have noticed with some releases, especially Spirit Iron Knife and some of the other releases from even last year, that there's a lot of stress joints in the hips, where the hips meet the legs here. A lot of legs snapping off and breaking. Just something to look out for. It's not with every figure, but it has happened to some of the figures that I've seen. Even in my own personal collection, I've seen some stressing on those areas, but he can get into a nice crouching pose. I think this is a really nice pose for him. And I think he's well executed. I think this is a really good, solid figure. I'm sure we'll get his regular release down the road. Probably not that far down the road. Maybe next year, maybe this year. Who knows? But yeah, I would definitely expect to see Bazooka again, especially with this body mold now being made. They're definitely going to want to reap the rewards of their tooling as far as that goes. His head can swivel at a full 360 rotation if you need it to. You can snap his neck and kill him if you want to. Head moves up about that far. And let me just adjust my camera really quick. There we go. So the head can look up about that far, and it can look down. He is, like I said, a little bit limited, and he is a little bit hunchbacky, just a little bit, but that's okay. Tilts his head side to side, and let's see if he's got jive turkeys. No gobbles, really. It's a little bit of a neck movement there, but I'm not going to count it. Arms go up about that far. They go down. Come on. They go down about that far, so here's T pose for you, and that's pretty much maxed out right there. Like I said, arms go down. We do have butterfly joints, which are, very hindered. You get a little bit of range of motion there. Less on this side than this side. Maybe this side's a little bit more frozen up. But we do have a diaphragm joint, and the actually painted 14 is continued in there. It looks a little bit weird when you move it around, but I don't think that's the end of the world. I'd rather have it look weird like this as opposed to it being cut off and there's no number there. He can crunch forward on that. He can also swivel side to side with that. He can swivel at the waist as well. Like I say, he's got those drop down legs, so he can do the splits, no problem. Like I said, be careful. Look at your T joint crotches and make sure that there's no stress marks there. If there are, try not to push any further. You might just have a bad copy, and just try to take it easy on the hips overall. Upper thigh swivel. He does have a double jointed knee right there. He's got a swivel at the boot. He's got a pointy toe, and that one's really hard to move. Pointy toe. He does have pointy heel, and he does have ankle pivot and 2 peg holes. And as far as the arms go, sorry, I skipped those. Bicep swivel, a double jointed elbow, which is pretty good range of motion. He can almost touch his face pretty much. He has a swivel at the wrist, and he has your vertical hinge joints on both sides, which he needs. Thank God they started doing that now. Instead of just doing, your pistol grips on one side, and most of the Joes were left-handed. It was really weird. So here we have Outback. He can look up about that far. He can look down. He's a little bit hindered. I wouldn't say he's more hindered than Bazooka over there. Tilt side to side. He's got better tiltage, though, than Bazooka. And we got jive turkeys up in here. So you got that. You got your T-pose right here with the arms. Looks good. And then we've got some swivelage in the arm. We've got some bicep swivel, some double jointed elbow. Some elbow. We also have some painted on kind of like gray arm hair, which is pretty awesome for him. Whoa, I just broke his arm almost. And then swivel at the wrist here. We've got a vertical hinge joint on this side and a lateral hinge joint on that side. So we're still kind of going lefty with him. Like I said, he does use pinless joints. He does crunch forward. He does crunch back. He does swivel at the waist as well. He does have drop-down hips, and he can do splits. Not as well as actually Bazooka, but I think that's due to his holsters kind of getting in the way a little bit. And like I said, test those or check those stress joints. Bring the hips back up. We've got an upper thigh swivel. We do have a double jointed knee right there, and that's full range of motion right there. A boot swivel, pointy toe, pointy heel, and an ankle pivot, and 2 peg holes. And that is going to be it for articulation. And one last little thing, I thought I'd do just a one-off quick little size comparison here. I know I said I wasn't going to do size comparisons really that much, but we do have some new body pieces here. Here is a Valaverse figure right here in Condor, and then over here we have the larger body from G.I. Joe, and that is Roadblock from the Amazon exclusive Roadblock. These parts are not from the Classifieds line. I wish they were, but they're not. It's a Gridiron Studios set. So there's that. And then one last one I'll do. I'm pretty sure that Bazooka, I'll confirm it, is using the same legs as, Roadblock here. Roadblock is a hair taller than Bazooka, which is awesome. But the boots are different. So these are, I think, our new boots for Bazooka. Getting him out of the way really quick. And then here is your basic regular body. As you can see, Duke is actually shorter than everybody here. He's shorter than a little bit by, if I get his legs poked in a little bit more, he's definitely, Outback is taller, Condor is taller, and Bazooka is taller than Duke. So here you have your regular main body, and then you have some new bodies. So pretty cool there. Okay, so for my final thoughts on Tiger Force, Target exclusive Bazooka and Outback, I would definitely give these a 2 thumbs up. I think they look good. They look the part. Pretty pleased with it. I still have my vintage Tiger Force Bazooka from when I was a kid. I do not have Tiger Force, and I never did have Tiger Force Outback. I always had the regular traditional Outback. But maybe when that regular one comes out, I will add in the vintage version with him. But I think it's a really good, nice little beginnings of a team here. It's always a team like Tiger Force. I'm probably gonna rename it and make it my own with my own imagination. But I think this is a really nice little setup, and personally, I think these are really good versions. So if you wanted to just get these versions of this character and not get the regular traditional ones, you could absolutely do so. The only things that I would really want to improve is the removable magazines. To me, just aren't a priority. I gotta fix his backpack. It's a little wonky there. There we go. The removable magazines, while they might be important to other people, aren't really important to me. So that's a very subjective thing, a nitpick. With Bazooka, it's definitely this little piece keeps popping off the back of his rocket launcher. But I don't have any other issues with any of these figures. The only other thing that maybe kind of bugs me is that the belts on them kind of ride up a little bit, but that's about it. It's not a big deal at all. That's a very minute, small thing to complain about. And I would definitely recommend picking them up. You can get both these guys on the I believe Bazooka's still up on the Target website, but in store you can pick up Tiger Force, Bazooka, or Outback in store. I'm pretty sure what was it? Outback came out first, then Bazooka and Recondo came out. I didn't see any Recondos in store, so I'm just gonna wait for my Hasbro Pulse to ship with Recondo and call that a day. And pretty stoked for Recondo as well. I think that's more of the version of Recondo that I like, is his Tiger Force look for him, as opposed to his traditional look, which isn't a bad look, but it's just what I prefer. Good articulation, great range of motion. Love the detail. The head sculpts are phenomenal. the accessories, everything works really well with this. Where it did not work very well with Dusty, I would say the camo patterns look a lot better, more consistent, a little bit more vibrant as far as the camo patterns go as well. They stand out a little bit better as opposed to Dusty's being a little bit more muted, and Stalker's being almost barely there. But anyway, I digress. I would, like I said, 2 thumbs up with these 2. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Thank you for watching, as always. I hope you guys enjoyed this review, and if you did, be sure to hit the like button. Also, hit subscribe if you want to see more of reviews just like this, and hit the bell for notifications, and be sure to hit all, and you'll get all my notifications as far as that goes, for my live streams and other topics that I bring up, including community posts. But that's pretty much it for me, and I will see you guys on the flip side.